Are you a creative writer who wants to turn your work into an audio drama that's heard by millions of listeners around the world? If so, I'd love to hear from you. Just send an email to manhuntpodcast1930@gmail.com. And for emailing me, I'll send you a link to a free Amazon download of one of my ebooks. Be sure to put free book in the subject line. Once again, that email address is manhuntpodcast1930@gmail.com. Let me spell that out for you. manhuntpodcast1930@gmail.com. Katie Books Productions presents an original podcast, Manhunt, written, produced, and narrated by Earl Sewell. Previously on Manhunt. Does he still think Stacy married the wrong man? Does he still think that she could have done better than you? Quentin asked. Theodore and I will never get along. We're two different types of people. He has his views, and I have mine. He has a lot of hang-ups and twisted viewpoints. But shit. He lives in Florida now, so he's not a problem anymore. I don't have to see him so much. Well, good for you, Quentin said, clearly irritated. Look, I was only trying to help. Carmen's doorbell buzzed while she was trying to pull down a box of shoes from the top shelf in her closet. She hustled out of her bedroom and over to the front door. She spoke into the intercom. "Who is it?" Carmen asked. "It's me and Fredia. Buzz us in," Nikki said. Carmen pressed the button, which triggered the buzzer downstairs. Carmen unbolted her door for them. She then went back to the bedroom closet and stood in front of it, once again looking at the box on the top shelf. She jumped up a few times until she snatched a shoebox she was trying to reach. They were all going out to the Wild Hare, a reggae-style nightclub, to celebrate Carmen's birthday. "Hello? Are you in here? Carmen?" Fredia spoke out loud as she entered Carmen's condo. "Yeah, I'm in here, in the bedroom. I'll be out in a minute," Carmen hollered. "Girlfriend, you shouldn't leave your door open like that. I know this girl who got messed up doing that. Her maniac neighbor saw her door open and came in and beat the hell out of her. It was on the news a few weeks ago. I think Oprah even did a show about how not to become a victim," Fredia said, matter-of-factly. Carmen was a bit snobbish and prided herself on living in a nice condominium, which didn't have the caliber of people Fredia was speaking of, so she didn't put much stock into the warning she'd issued. Carmen walked out of the bedroom and into the living room where her guests were waiting. She paused and looked at them with a critical and disapproving eye as she evaluated their outfits. Fredia had on a hot red spandex dress that pinched every fat bulge on her body. The dress had a neck clasp and a V-neck line that amplified the stretch marks on her D-cup-sized breasts. Frida's hot pink shoes didn't match her dress, and her chubby legs lacked any type of muscular curvature. Nikki didn't look any better. She was wearing the identical dress, only in black. Nikki was also wearing an oversized wig from the Shaka Khan and Diana Ross collection. Everything about their appearance made them look like cheap prostitutes, as opposed to classy ladies going out for a fun evening. "I don't have maniac neighbors, Fredia. Everyone in this building has a respectable job." And what's that supposed to mean? Are you trying to say that none of these high-class idiots will never snap out, go crazy, and shoot up the place? That is highly unlikely in this neighborhood, Carmen said. She hoped her words sliced Freda's feelings in some fashion. As much as Carmen hated to acknowledge how she truly felt, Fredia was like spoiled food that made her stomach turn sour every time she was around her. Wait a minute. Stop right there. Nikki jumped in the middle of their conversation. I'm not going to put up with you two bickering with each other tonight. Both of you are going to play nice. We're all going to have a good time. We're going to go out to the club, strut our stuff, and perhaps pick up some men who will buy us drinks all night. Nikki, you know her ass is tripping since she's another year older. She doesn't have a man and hasn't had a decent man in years and doesn't have a clue how to get a man. Hell, she probably doesn't even know what a good solid dick really looks like. She's probably used to seeing hard dicks in textbooks and shit. You see, Carmen, Fredia was now speaking directly to Carmen. A really good dick look like it hits all parts of your pussy and will make you see stars. A good-looking hard dick will make you drop to your knees, put that shit in your mouth, and suck it until you drain it. I really don't need a sex education class from you, Fredia, Carmen snapped. Oh shit, maybe you don't. Maybe your prim and proper ass is in the closet. Damn, I never even thought about that shit. Are you gay, girlfriend? Fredia asked, laughing out loud. Excuse me? I'm not in anyone's closet and I'm not gay. Carmen gave Fredia a nasty glare. She didn't see any humor in her accusation. Lighten up, girl. Fredia continued to laugh. She'd gotten under Carmen's skin. You know what? You should let me hook you up with somebody, Fredia said, still toying with Carmen. Oh, really? Someone like who? Carmen asked, in order to humor Fredia. However, before Fredia could even answer, Carmen turned her back on her and headed toward the bathroom to finish getting dressed. There was no way she was going anywhere with any of Fredia's filthy and shady associates. Francisco has plenty of buddies. Fredia spoke louder as Carmen walked away. He might know someone who would be willing to hook up with your ass. You know, someone who doesn't speak English. Fredia and Nikki began laughing. Whatever, Carmen snapped. Wait a minute, Carmen. Nikki stopped her sister before she entered the bathroom. What are you going to wear tonight? Something sexy and provocative, right? Carmen met her sister's gaze. I'm putting on something very sexy and tasteful. When I come out, I'll show you what I mean. You guys could learn a thing or two from me on how to be more alluring to attract a better class of men, Carmen said, with supreme confidence. The day I start taking fashion lessons from you, honey, is the day that I'll be flat on my back inside a coffin. Fredia laughed at Carmen, who then entered the bathroom and slammed the door shut. Ooh, I can't stand that girl, Carmen growled as she removed her outfit from a hook hanging on the back of the bathroom door. She'd been starving herself for the past 2 weeks in order to look right in it. She was thankful that her stomach wasn't bloated, which generally happened around this time of the month right before her cycle. She turned her attention to the mirror on the medicine cabinet and, for a moment, she could see the strong resemblance she had to her mother, Lola. Carmen had her mother's smooth skin, the color of gingerbread. She had inherited her mother's brown, catty eyes and full, luscious lips. She had also had her mother's smile and finer grade of hair. She missed her mother and wished she was still around to help celebrate her birthday. Carmen exhaled before she began to put on red lipstick. She puckered her lips and blew her reflection a kiss, like she'd seen the actress Sally Richardson do once in a movie. In her mind, she knew that when a man would approach her, his eyes would focus on her succulent lips, alluring figure, and seductive smile. Then, out of the blue, a very painful memory surfaced without her permission. Her mind began taking her someplace she didn't want to go. God, why couldn't I have been stronger on the night my father was murdered? She asked her reflection. Carmen wished she had gone downstairs to see about her father on the night a burglar broke into their home. He'd still be alive if I had. And perhaps I would have seen who the killer was and sent that son of a bitch to prison for what he'd done. Carmen closed her eyes. She tried to convince herself that she needed to forgive herself and get rid of that piece of emotional baggage. Carmen concentrated and shoved her unwelcome memories back into a bolted chamber in her mind. There was no way she was going to let her demons run free and ruin her birthday. Once her mind was clear, she picked up a red scarf and tied it around her neck. She took a deep breath, looked in the mirror, and once more opened the door. "Well, guys, how do I look?" Carmen asked as she struck a pose. "You look like you," said Nikki. "You look like you're headed to a job interview," Fredia said. "Honey, you look like that nutty white chick Elaine from Seinfeld. You've got to get more daring and start showing off more of your assets." Fredia stood up and adjusted her breasts and struck a pose. "I will never lower myself to that level, Fredia. You will not be able to turn me out the way you've turned out Nikki." Carmen didn't mean to sound so harsh and blunt, but she couldn't help it. She had to say exactly what was on her mind. "I didn't make Nikki do anything she didn't want to do. She was a freak long before she met me. You just didn't know it," Fredia snapped back. "Will you guys stop it?" Nikki once again jumped in. "Damn! I'm tired of you two fighting over me. I swear, you guys sound like you're in a competition to see who's going to have the most control over me. I'm my own person, and I do what I want to do. I'm 25 years old now, and I believe I've earned the right to dress and behave any way I see fit." "Nikki, you could be—" Nikki cut her sister off. "Carmen, just stop. Tonight is about you, not me." Carmen conceded and held on to the rest of her thoughts for the moment. "Good. Now that is all settled, can we get a move on? I'm ready to shake my ass and attract a drunken fool who wants to spend all of his money on me." "Yeah, let's go," Carmen said, and began walking toward the door. When they arrived at the reggae club, Carmen quickly spotted an available booth beside the stage. She suggested they claim it before anyone else did. Once they did, Fredia and Nikki decided to head toward the washroom to make adjustments to their revealing outfits. Carmen agreed to stay and watch their seats. A few middle-aged men approached her and asked her for a dance. Carmen quickly turned them down. She wasn't ready. She ordered herself a strawberry mojito, and it took no time for the waitress to have the bartender make it and present her with it. She enjoyed the taste of her drink while she listened to the sensual sounds of island music. A few couples were on the dance floor, seductively shaking their hips to the rhythm of the music. A short while later, Carmen spotted Nikki and Fredia returning from the bathroom, laughing. "What are you two laughing so hard about?" Carmen asked, wanting to get in on the merriment. "Girl, this damn fool with a lazy eye came up to me and started talking smack," said Nikki, barely able to contain her laughter. "He was ugly as Lil Wayne, and came up with the goofiest line, Fredia continued. He said, "My name is Al, and I'd like to be your pal." He tried to make his voice sound all deep and shit. Wait. Nikki was nearly in tears now. So I told him if he was looking for a pal, he needed to take his ass to the Anti-Cruelty Society and adopt a dog. Nikki burst out laughing again. Then his boy, Fredia continued, who was watching him make his moves, yelled out, "Damn, your ass got served." At that point, Carmen began laughing with them. Carmen turned her attention back to the dance floor, which was packed with gyrating people, dancing with seductive and sensual abandon. "Come on, let's go dance," Nikki said, as she grabbed her sister by the arm and jerked her out of her seat. Once they found a tiny slice of real estate to dance on, Nikki began shouting out and singing along with the music. It didn't take long for men with heat, hunger, and lust in their eyes to notice Nikki's stripper-like dance moves. A tall, bony man approached Nikki from behind, put his hands on her hips, and began to mirror her moves. Another short man, with very bad skin, approached Carmen, grinding his hips and smiling, hoping to get an opportunity to ride her ass the way the other man was riding Nikki's. "Let's go back over there," Nikki whispered to her sister, "near the stage, where the man is taking pictures. I want to get my picture taken before I get all sweaty." "Okay, after the song is over," Carmen said, and continued to dance. "What's the matter, baby?" asked the hip-grinding man who'd approached her. "Nothing," Carmen said, and continued to dance with the man, but at a distance. Carmen danced a few songs with the man and later danced with several other more attractive men. Nikki and Fredia surprised Carmen with a special birthday cake and got all of the patrons in the club to sing happy birthday to her. This made her feel very special. At 3:15 a.m., the three women called it a night and left the club. They piled into Carmen's car, loaded with alcohol and laughter. Carmen had drunk a strong cup of coffee before they'd left the club to help her stay alert during their drive home. "Damn, my feet are killing me." Carmen glanced at Nikki, who was in the passenger seat, kicking off her shoes. "Oh shit, that feels so much better." "Honey, I hear you," Fredia chimed in, as she also kicked off her shoes and slumped down in the back seat. Carmen turned the ignition key, but the engine sputtered and wouldn't start. "Girl, don't tell me your car won't start." Carmen looked over at Nikki, who had a concerned look on her face. "Didn't you just get this car fixed?" "Yeah, but that was brake work, not engine work." Carmen tapped the gas pedal a few times, turned the ignition key again, but the car refused to start. "Come on, baby, don't do this to me now. Not tonight," Carmen pleaded with her car. She paused for a long moment and then turned the ignition key again. The engine whined and sputtered before reluctantly catching a full engine crank and starting up. "Get my ass home so I can get in bed," said Fredia drowsily. Carmen noticed the red check engine light blinking. Damn, she thought to herself before she sped off into the night, praying she would get the car home before it completely conked out. An hour later, Carmen pulled up in front of Nikki and Frida's apartment building on 71st and Prairie Street. "When you guys get upstairs, come to the window and wave, so I know you've made it in safely." "All right," answered Nikki. "I hope you had a nice birthday, Carmen," said Fredia. Carmen appreciated her being nice to her for the entire night. "But you know this doesn't change shit between us. I'm going to be in your ass whenever I see fit." Yeah, Carmen said impatiently. "Now, get out of here and get on upstairs." A few moments passed before Carmen saw Nikki come to the window and wave. Carmen pushed the gas pedal. The car hesitated, then crept along slowly, bucked like an untamed stallion, then picked up speed. She rushed down Prairie Street, barely stopping for stop signs. Right before she reached 55th Street, the engine shut completely off, and the car began coasting like a ghost floating through the night. Carmen pulled the car over to the curb under a lamppost that had a blown bulb. She tried to restart her car, but it only sputtered and whined. "Come on, baby, please start." She pleaded with the car as she pumped the gas pedal and continued turning the ignition. However, it was no use. Her car had conked out. "Shit!" Carmen howled. She was stranded in a seedy section of the city. Out of the passenger window, she glared at the open space of a vacant lot where a building of some kind once stood. Through the darkness, at a distance, she could see the rusted pillars of the elevated L train tracks. Out of the driver's window, there was a lone, 3-flat building surrounded by more vacant land, which gave her a creepy feeling. She glared out of her front window and noticed that all of the street lamps were out. "Damn," she bitched. She was now closer to her Hyde Park condo than she was to Nikki and Freda's apartment. "Okay, Carmen, don't panic." She began searching for her cell phone, but remembered that she hadn't brought it, since the purse she was carrying was so small. "God damn it," she said as she flung her purse into the passenger seat. "Come on, girl, get it together. What are you going to do? It's very late, and your car has stopped in a neighborhood where crime is a way of life." Carmen got her thoughts in order and decided that the best thing to do was to leave the car, get up to Garfield Boulevard, and take the bus or a cab home. She got out of the car and walked down the middle of the street instead of on the sidewalk. Not wanting to hang around the empty street longer than necessary, she walked briskly. She made it through the dark and dangerous street and onto Garfield Boulevard. She walked east about a half a block and stood in front of a bus stop sign. Although she was still in a rough area, she felt slightly safer since it was well lit. Some traffic was moving along 55th Street, and there was a collection of harmless derelicts drinking alcohol and arguing about whether Barack Obama was going to be the first black president. 20 minutes later, the bus finally came along, and Carmen quickly got on, paid her fare, and sat directly behind the bus driver. There weren't many people on the bus, but those who were had their eyes fixed on her, which made her feel a little uncomfortable. Once she got back home safely, she kicked off her shoes, crashed on her bed, and fell asleep with her clothes on. Carmen opened her eyes the next afternoon and focused her attention on her alarm clock. She saw it flip from 1:59 p.m. to 2 p.m. and wanted to roll back over and get some more sleep. Her stomach refused to allow her to rest any longer. It began doing flips. She rolled onto her back, ran her fingers through her hair, and took a long stretch to bring her body fully to life. She got out of bed and walked into the kitchen. She picked up the phone on the countertop and dialed Nikki. The phone rang for a long time before an answering machine finally picked up. "They must not be there," Carmen uttered before hanging up the phone without leaving a message. She massaged her temples in an effort to fight off a headache that was trying to complicate her day. "I have to go see about my damn car," Carmen complained. She took a few deep breaths and then got ready to head back to the spot where her car had stalled.